I like that.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Good, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dragon Mount. I am Crystal, and this this is Tom. One of these days, I'm gonna remember to point the correct direction.
Never. I never will. So
Someday. And that's Momo by Tom's Head.
yeah,
I have been watching the live action Avatar and have become even more obsessed with the idea of having my own Momo
me
because
too.
now he looks real. Like he's a little bit more real. So now I'm
The what? He's a lemur monkey or something like that.
hmm
They call him a flying lemur, but obviously, that doesn't happen.
No, no. I'm wondering
So
if next time I go to the zoo, I could get like a little cotton top tamarin or something to bring home with me. Get my little Momo fix.
I wish.
hmm
So how was your weekend?
It was good. I watched some WatCon online and had a little bit of FOMO. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. A reverse. What up, reverse? We had a pretty good time. Yeah. Yes, you are. You are first on the scene, sir, and I appreciate you. The we have some pretty cool. We had some pretty cool things happen over the weekend, and I want to share one of them. I want to share a couple of things before we bring in our super special guest. Let me grab our pictures that I have here. There we go. And I'll do some handy dandy.
What's the attendance of WatCon? Like,
I think it was like just under 300, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just under 300. But very soon on the Dragon Mount YouTubes, we'll have
Alyssa!
something that this may be like here. So
Yay!
yeah, Guy Roberts. I got to hang out with Guy Roberts. He recorded some stuff for us, and what up, Arosa? And we did a little interview. Hello. And he recorded a little intro for us too. We're going to be working on a new intro for our YouTubes and things like that. So he was fantastic. I absolutely love Guy so much. Like I already was like in love with that man like before, just because he is. I don't like. I've seen him act, and he's a great actor, but I don't think he's a good enough actor to pretend the genuine like glee and excitement and enjoyment that he was having interacting with all the fans and finally getting to talk about Wheel of Time, especially when it wasn't like even like on camera or for anything. He would just be like chatting with somebody in like the hallway or something like that, and he was talking about like the metaphysics of the Horn of Valir and like where the heroes are and like what does he think Tel'aran'rhiod looks like, and he's just this is how I imagined it, and he's just talking about how he imagined it while he was reading it, and he just seemed to get such a kick out of being able to just finally interact with the fandom, and that was a lot.
I mean, you can tell, like, not only is he just a really nice human and nice person, but he's such a big fan that now being forever a part of this, he is such a nerd.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a great time. It was a really great
Me
time.
too,
And it's in
Reverse.
Ohio.
Me
It's
too.
going to be in July every year. The tickets, I believe, are already on sale for next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Though we, as WatCon attendees from this year, we had a very special thing happen where we got 10% off the tickets for next year, and they said they may do that again next year. They did it during the closing ceremonies. They put out a special coupon code just for those who were there, which was really nice. One of the other really cool things that we got to hear, though, was that Wheel of Time, and I'm like, obviously, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt because I'm pretty sure that this is one like true. During the opening ceremonies of WatCon, Guy Roberts was hanging out with innkeeper Hatch, and he announced here. Let me get that up there. There we go. He announced that season 4 was going to be awesome. And like they you know, they played it up a little bit like it might have been a mistake, or like, oh, are you sure you meant to say season 4? They were obviously joking. Like they were he was playing that up. Like he meant season 4. He's like, no, I mean season 4. And then hopefully 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like he was confirming season 4 is happening. So we're 100% getting a season 4. Iris Bear, I totally can understand that, because honestly, it was so much fun. I had a great time, and I'm totally going back next year. But talking about having a lot of fun, there's a special person that's going to be coming in with us tonight, and I want to show a picture of them from a recent convention that some of you may have been to as well, JordanCon. And it was this. First of all, it encapsulates her personality so well, because look at how much fun she's having. And I love the outfit also. Purple is my color. It looks a little bit like a like the coloring and the crown, especially like Tangled from Disney a little bit. Like
oh yeah.
There just a little. And mainly because I see it all the time, because Erin's favorite thing is Tangled. But
I didn't know this. I love it.
Let's see if she's backstage still. Look, here comes an awesome guest.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello, Kyoko.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, and thank you for complimenting the tiara, because that is what I was going for. Tangled is among my absolute favorite dishes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did. That is exactly what I got. So
you caught it. Yep.
I didn't even know that. I mean, like, of all of the things that we talked about pre-show, which was not that at all, and it worked out perfectly. I'm glad. I like it when things work out. So you did good. Nerds usually do with stuff like that. I feel like, you know, when you try to be subtle with things like that and slide in, and other nerds will see it.
Yes. My favorite
the tiara time at JordanCon is a thing for those who have been there. There's usually every year like a big tiara picture, everyone in their tiaras. One year I brought my beard. I have a beard tiara.
Oh, really?
Fancy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Fancy.
It's one of those like little hair, like it has like the hair comb on it that you like stick in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it fits perfectly on my beard and going under my chin, and then it sits like right here.
That is too funny.
So welcome. You are, and obviously we have author Kyoko M. So what are some of your books that we may have read? Or I know actually, Crystal, you couldn't reach it last time, so I'm not going to call you out. But you have one of her books is on your shelf too.
Mm-hmm. It's up top that I bought this year.
Oh, okay.
Before I even knew who you were. I just went through and bought like 3 books from authors I'd never heard of this year. So it's on my to be read shelf up top.
Awesome. I certainly hope you enjoy when you get to it.
I will definitely reach out.
Thank you. So my 2 series are the Black Parade Urban Fantasy series and the Of Cinder and Bone Science Fiction series. Usually when I'm at my table and I do my little pitches, I say that the Black Parade is Constantine, but with a grumpy Afro-Latina woman. And then Of Cinder and Bone is Jurassic Park, but with dragons and polyamory.
I like
so that's
it.
Me. Oh, right. Of course, I have to do my Marvel plugs because I'm a shameless Marvel whore. So I wrote I brought a story for Black Panther Tales of Wakanda, which is a short story anthology by Marvel Comics and Titan Books. And then I also have an upcoming anthology, which is called The Shield of Sam Wilson. And that's coming out in November of this year. I have a short story on that as well. And I am still reeling from the fact that they put me on the cover. I will never get over that.
That's freaking
That's so
amazing.
Exciting.
Right.
That's
So
cool.
What was funny is how I found out is my friend had sent me something like in the middle of the morning one day. And I'm at work and I'm like, she's like, did you see this yet? And she sent me a tweet and the tweet was the book cover. And I'm like, oh, cool. They forgot to tell me that it was out or whatever. And I'm like, starting to put together a tweet to talk about it. She goes, look at it.
Look closer.
And yes, look closer. And then I went, is that my name? She was like, yeah, dude. So it was like a whole 15 minutes after she told me, I didn't even see it. Like, I'm just going, oh, cool, the book parser's been posted. But yeah, so it is literally a life dream come true.
That's so cool. So the Sam Wilson one is coming out later this year. Did the Black Panther one come out already?
It did. So that came out in 2021 and is now available in all formats. So your paperback, hardcover, and audiobook, and ebook, of course.
And we shared a link to your website, which has links to all the social medias and things like that. So make sure to go and check that out. Make sure to drop follows and likes and subscribes everywhere for Kyoko, because we love her. So. Can you, without spoiling anything, can you give us like an idea of what the story for the Black Panther was?
Yes, absolutely.
Now that you could probably talk about it since it's been out for a couple years.
Yes, I was going to say. So they
no
were only released
right now.
Yeah, they were only strict about spoilers within that first year, so it's cool. I'm not going to spoil anything though, just because I think it was a lot of fun to write. But my story is about a young girl that was kidnapped out of Wakanda, and Okoye is assigned to finding the girl to bring her back to her mother. She was taken by some human traffickers that are trying to send her outside of Wakanda. So the story is Okoye investigating to try and get the girl back before she's moved outside of Wakanda.
Awesome. I loved that movie so much, and obviously rest in peace to wow, my brain.
It's okay.
Chadwick, but I wanted to say, I know it's not the same guy, obviously, but they have their name both starts with a C, CH, and they're both like not common names. Chiwetel Ejiofor and Chadwick.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love both of them, but thank all of the gods, every single one of them, that Chiwetel is still doing well. But obviously Chadwick.
I'm just amazed you can pronounce his name, because I just give up. I just like, everybody, who I'm talking about. I'm gonna spell his name. I cannot pronounce it, so I'm just gonna spell it.
I actually, so I used to say Chiwetel, but I was like, there's no way that's how you say his name. And then I was like, you know what? I just got to look it up. There's got to be an interview somewhere where he says his name, or where this happens. Like they're like, someone says it wrong and he's like, it's whatever. And I saw a video where he says his name and it's Chiwetel.
That's what I had to do. Like one of the times I was doing something, I think I was on a continual panel, and I was like, I'm gonna have to say his name. Let me go look at the interview where he says it. So
where they say the name. Yes. That's the important one. I always try to find one where they say their name.
Yes.
But Chadwick was, way too early. So you said Okoye, that's Denai
Guerrera's character. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember her last name. She's if anyone's seen Walking Dead, she played okay. Guerrera. Yeah. She played Michonne in Walking Dead. I love her.
So when they basically what happened, I was recommended by another author because they were trying to round out the rest of, I think we ended up with 18 people total. And so they had like a chunk of them, but they were looking for like the last 4 or 5 people. And so another author recommended me. And so he was like, okay, well, I've already got stories about this set of characters. And he gave me a list. And he said, okay, so you can pick somebody from this list that I give you here, and then just pick a concept. Yeah, that was nice. And so, because I actually wanted to write about Okoye before he told me that there were certain, like T'Challa, Shuri, and let's see, I think maybe Bashinga, who I think was the first Black Panther. I think all of those were off limits because they had enough stories. And so when I saw that, I went, oh, perfect, because I wanted to write about Okoye. She's my favorite out of that series. I adore Shuri, but like Okoye is where I live. I am that cranky, I'll murder everybody to protect my family person.
Oh yeah. She also has like the best, like she has, I don't know, maybe not the best, but she has some of the greatest one-liners in almost all of Marvel.
She has so many good lines. Like I love the one in Wakanda Forever. He's like, you could have called, and she's like, now why would I have your number? I was like, oh, the sass on that line.
Oh God.
I was sent. She said that line with so much sauce.
That's
It
fantastic.
was perfect.
The first time she calls Martin Freeman colonizer, I cried in the theater because his face, like his reaction on his face was perfect.
Anyway,
so I wanted to call attention to this too because I thought the same thing, and I wanted to see how you came up with that. So we shared your website in chat. She who writes monsters, and Iris Bear, and Reverse Guilty. Everyone, obviously, that's a great name. So when did you land on that name? Where did you? I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's lots of monsters in the. What did you say? Afro-Latina Constantine?
Yes.
Is that how you described it? Yeah, I can see a lot of monsters being in that. Demons, I'm guessing, too, right?
Mm-hmm. So the way I came up with that was, I think probably like somewhere within a year of when I first published the Black Curry. Me and my dad works in marketing and advertising and things like that. And so we were trying to put together like my brand, I suppose, of how that would take shape. And so I was sitting, he's like, okay, well, you're going to have a website. And so I want you to think of a good name for it, like something that's fairly unique, but also is like reflective of you as a person. And so I kind of sat down and I thought about, well, everything I write about in some form is going to be about monsters. It doesn't necessarily have to always be dragons, angels, demons, ghosts, werewolves, vampires, all that kind of stuff. People are monsters, as we can very easily identify in our world. So that's what I thought. I went, you know what, I want to do, and I had always liked that Friedrich Nietzsche quote, of course. So I decided to like, oh, that's a perfect marriage of those two things. Because one, it's easy to say, easy to spell, and two, it's a very unique website that most people don't have. And again, most people know that Nietzsche quote by now, so it's easy for people to remember. Yeah.
One of the things that both since we are a Wheel of Time fan website at our hearts, Dragon Mount, but also we're doing obviously Avatar: The Last Airbender. But one of the things that both of those properties do very well, I feel like, is showcase the evil. It's not just like a evil, like a great evil. It's not just like some sort of mythological or spiritual or like just entity that's evil. They also depict real human evil and wrongness, and it's not always the villains, quote unquote, of the story that end up being those people who show villainy or being evil. In Avatar, we see one of the Earth nations, like I don't remember his name, but it was in the beginning of season 2. One of the Earth nation like generals tries to manipulate Aang into provoking the Avatar form to come out, and he does it by like putting his friends in danger and trying to attack him, and like obviously that's not a cool thing to do. And then indiscriminately killing Fire Nation citizens and things like that. There's a lot of really interesting aspects in Avatar. Also in Wheel of Time, we see a lot of people like real other, not exact same things as how I described Avatar, but like real human evil that has nothing to do with in the Wheel of Time is the Dark One. The White Cloaks are essentially the Ku Klux Klan and the Knights Templar, and that's a perfect juxtaposition of real world, real human evil. So,
well, actually, just a little while ago, I had reblogged a photo set for that movie Pitch Black, which I adore, absolutely adore that movie. But that's one that I thought was a good example of the concept of like, there's a difference between a monster and a monster. So in that movie, they are being chased by real monsters, but the guy on the team, Johns, is as much a monster as the things that's chasing them. And the movie actually goes through great lengths to show you the distance between who you thought was going to be the hero and who actually ended up being the reliable person that got everybody out, which was completely flip-flop. And I've always loved writing like that, and I think that Avatar is full of really good nuances like that.
Oh yeah.
If I've nothing else, Iroh alone is a great
for sure. Oh man, the next couple episodes with Iroh are great. There's one of my favorite scenes of him is in it's going to be in the last technically 3 episodes, but the last episode that we're doing, which is Sozin's Comet, is broken up into 3 parts. It's an hour and a half. It's gonna be our longest episode probably.
Yeah.
But Pitch Black, before we get too far away from that, one of my favorite movies of all time. The other movies, I mean, they're good.
I was gonna say I can watch Chronicle, but like because it's really cheesy, Riddick can eat my whole butt. I hate it. I actively hated that movie. I was sitting in the theater with my arms like this, and I was like, "What did you just do?
What happened? Why are we doing this?"
And it's sad because they're threatening to make another one. He swears, no, guys, I'll get it right this time. Oh, really? Because you got it wrong twice already, dude.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Reverse BLT. There were some the games were really good.
The games were legit. Those were actually
absolutely
legit. Yes.
And the comics weren't bad either. Ooh, I just got a. Oh, okay. So if anyone usually watches us on Twitter, apparently starting in between last week and this week, you need to have a paid account to stream on Twitter. So we're no longer streaming on Twitter right now.
Oh, Lord.
I just got the notification pop up on our thing. A premium account on X is required in order to stream on the platform.
Thanks, Clyde.
I will not be giving Elon Musk a single dollar.
Nope.
Anyway, though, talking about the nuances in Avatar, one of, especially because it's so poignant right now in our current world, the way they show the Fire Nation in the show, like the way they depict them, is never as wholly the villain. Like the only person that's irredeemably evil in the show is the Fire Lord.
I don't know, man. Azula. I don't know.
That's what I was going to say.
I agree. So I agree with you, but we got to remember, and we're going to see it. It started in the last episode, and we're going to see it play out, I think, a little bit now. I'm not sure if we have.
Yes, we do see it in Ember Island. Like we see her little arc.
Yeah, a little bit. Right. So she's like 15, 16. So like she's a child.
I was gonna say, and the person down there is correct. Azula was mentally ill. Yeah, that
absolutely.
All of that mess that her dad did to her. Yes, I absolutely agree. But at the same time, there were a couple points where Azula could have done the least evil thing and definitely chose not to do it.
No, Noman Garden, you missed. Hold on, you did miss one great thing so far, because I want to share it again, just because the joy on your face, and this was Kyoko at Jordan Con this year. So, and your beautiful tiara, that is a fantastic tiara.
That was
and we talked about how Guy. I think you probably know this, Noman Garden, because you were at WatCon, but how Guy announced pretty much that season 4 for the Wheel of Time is confirmed. One of the cool things that I think Avatar does is showing the childhood trauma, like not just similar, the same childhood trauma affecting Zuko and Azula, but how differently it affected them personally overall, and how, you know, it's possible to recover from it with the right treatment in a sense.
The right influence.
Yeah. You know, Zuko got help from his uncle, and, you know, from his experience outside of the Fire Nation, where Azula really never gets out until pretty much the last episode of the show, when
it's definitely a nature versus nurture thing. Like, again, there are ways that she could have had she gotten to go with Iroh and just not been under Ozai's tutelage the entire time. There's a chance that Azula might have not turned out so broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I just feel so bad for her, because again, there was nothing she could have. It was like, you know, flourish or die. That's all she had. It was like he was gonna kill her or let her die had she not just rose to become the thing that he made her. And so again, I can't really fault her for that. It was like, well, it's like Gamora and Nebula. It was like perform or die.
Yeah.
None I could have done.
That is a great example of Zuko and Azula's kind of whole dichotomy, Nebula and Gamora. That's a great example, because again, similar childhood traumas and similar upbringings, and then two very different people arising out of it. That's a really good example. Oh, something just flew into my window. I don't know what it was. I hope it's okay, whatever it was. I'm on the second floor, so it was either a bird or a bat, and I just hope it's okay.
Oh God.
We're gonna get ready to do the episode soon, so we'll give everybody just a heads up. Like, we'll do it in the next 5 minutes or so. But as per usual, I'm going to start a watch party in a minute, and I'll share the link for that. But also, if you're not going to follow along the watch party, I will have the timer. Boop, the handy dandy timer that you could follow along with. I'll line up the time with our watch party, and you can follow along that way. And let's get the watch party going. I like to start it right now, because sometimes when I pre-start it and let it sit, it gives me weird, funky things. So I'm sharing the watch party now in chat. If you click on it, You should just see like the little kid on the skateboard beginning part from the Nickelodeon intro, and it'll be paused. So just let it sit there, and we'll press play as we go. Anyway, one of the other really good things that I like that they do in Avatar, specifically with like the Fire Nation and how they depict them, is that they often Aang, Katara, Sokka, even especially Sokka in the episodes with Jet and the his crew, I forgot what they call themselves. The Fire Nation citizens and even the Fire Nation military, not all of that, they're not all the enemy, and they talk about that. One of a great quote, which I mentioned it before, it is from Captain America, the first Captain America movie. The first nation that the Nazis invaded was their own, and it's similar to the Fire Nation. Like the first nation that the corruption of the royal family of the Fire Nation did was of the Fire Nation, and we see it often in many episodes throughout all 3 seasons that not all the Fire Nation military, not all the Fire Nation people are bad. They're not all evil, which is why Aang has such a hard time just like killing people. He doesn't want to kill anybody. And like I said, especially now, I think that's a very important story to teach people. I've said it a million times, but I'll say it a million more. I don't care. I'm excited to get the group of children who were like, 6 through like, 12, 13 into the age of like, doing stuff in our world that grew up with this show. I'm really excited for that because I feel like they're going to be better people than a lot of the rest.
They are. That show would have taught them so
and we need
many
it.
Complicated concepts.
Absolutely. Glenn, what's up, Glenn? So I think a good stall amount of time for people to get ready to line up their stuff and chime into the watch party if they are.
So as this is my first one, how are we going to do this in terms of sound? I don't know if me watching with my sound on is going to like interact with us. Or...
So usually what we do like in the watch party, and if you're watching it separately, what I tell people is just I turn the sound off and just turn the subtitles on.
Oh, okay.
And mostly what we do when we're watching here is kind of just a cue for when to talk about what's going on the screen. Because we pretty much talk through the whole thing.
Okay.
But but if the sound does get picked up by the microphone, we have to lower it though because we will get content violated by YouTube.
Yeah, happened one time.
Yeah, it happened once already.
Okay, no, so I'll leave it muted. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna press play on the the watch party, and then I will also press play on the clock. I lost the. Where's the? It's. I'll find it. How did I lose the?
Thom has con brain. He's tired.
It's true. I am very tired. Saturday, there it is. I found the clock. So Saturday night was the dance party. The dance party ended at like 12:30, give or take. I was on the floor until 12:30 until they turned the lights on, which was a lot of fun. I have pictures and stuff. We'll look at the pictures later. Then I probably went to bed at 6, I want to say, and then I was up by 8:30 for my panel at 10.
Oh dear.
And did you end up staying up before you went, or did you go to bed before you flew?
Yeah,
you stayed up
there was a couple of people that hopped in stream with me. Bart of Time hopped in stream with me. I streamed until like 5 a.m.
I went to bed that's insane. I think I decked out at like 11.
I was awake packing on Thursday night, and we had to wake up and leave at like it wasn't 5. It was I stopped the stream at like 2:50 because we had to leave at 3. Our flight was at 5. So I shut the stream off, got up, walked outside, put my clothes on, and left because I had packed the night before. So I didn't sleep at all Thursday into Friday. It's not responsible. It's just because I'm dumb and irresponsible, and sleep for me is hard. So that's what I did. Don't be like me. Don't do what I do. All right. I'm gonna get ready to press play. Here we go. I gotta line up the things. All right. I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1, play. It is playing on my end, and I will. And we're lined up. Yay! Okay. So the clock is going, and the watch party is going. If you're watching the watch party, and the episode has started.
Yay!
I also fully suggest I'm putting the subtitles on, because there's sometimes inconsistencies, and sometimes they like name characters that aren't always named in the show in the subtitles, which is interesting.
It's also how I figured out
as a
how
nation
some of the
we get better with
animals.
subtitles.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, String? Oh, that is rough. I am sorry, Namaguarded. I do not envy anyone that has to work like a third shift, like
No.
overnights or late nights. It's not fun. I did it on and off for like 7 or 8 years, and I never liked it. Depending on what you're doing, like obviously it's very different. But when I was doing it, I was doing like I worked for the state of New York, and I did bulkheading and dock building, but they would make us do like night watchman duties occasionally, overnights at marinas that we operated, and that was boring as hell because you're just sitting there. And
my uncle showed me one of those, the guards that stand outside of Buckingham Palace. They have to be on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
I was like, there's no amount of money that I would ever survive that one day. Because it's not like you can look at your phone. Literally, you have to sit on the horse, hold your sword, look straight ahead, and nothing else.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And try to keep your horse from biting the children.
Yes.
Have you seen those videos?
Bite them
Those
a
are
lot.
awful.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
The attacking started right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Aaron. Yes, we did. Thank you. So we're almost.
Oh right,
done
I
with
forgot
Avatar.
because I'm dumb.
You're tired. You're not tired.
Yeah, I did mean to bring that up. We did get the poll going for our next show. I meant to talk about that before we started the episode, but whatever. We're here now.
That's why we have
so
Aaron.
Up on the poll is Ahsoka, Legend of Korra. We'll start it with season 1 this time because why not? Fallout and House of the Dragon season 2.
So I looked earlier, like an hour before we got on, and I think Fallout was leading both places, Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
I don't remember what was second. I'll have to look it up again.
Yeah, on Instagram, if you go to our stories, it'll pop up in like the stream, and you can actually click on. It looks just like a picture, but you can click on the poll in the Instagram stories, and it'll allow you to vote that way. See, now I feel like this is Azula starting to break because her hair is like it started when she had to arrest her friends at the end of the last episode, but like the way they're showing it visually is her hair being a mess. Like her hair was out of the normal fully tight bun that she's got going on when she arrested her friends, and here we're starting it already like it looks like it may be like she did this on purpose, like it's a style, but slowly throughout the course of the rest of this event, which by the way, it's almost 16 years ago to the day when this episode aired. This episode aired on July 17th, 2008. So almost 16 years ago.
That doesn't seem right.
I know.
I need that gift from Freaky Friday. I'm old.
Oh, see, Aaron is so much smarter. We always do it just on the socials, but if we just post the link directly to the page, then everyone just goes from those places to the page, and then it's in one spot, and we don't have to tally it together. So Sokka with his hair down in this episode instantly makes me think of the live action Sokka because he looks a little bit like him. Mainly because they tried to do like an older version of them in the show. So I think that's maybe what they were going for. His jaw is much more defined. Like his face it looks a lot like the guy from the live action one, and I have the image here. But I bring it up because I wanted to mention also something that Crystal pointed out. Kyoko, did you
Forever ruined.
Did you watch Gilmore Girls?
No.
Okay. Gilmore Girls, Jared Padalecki from Supernatural, Sam from Supernatural, he was in that. So the image that's next to
are you talking about the joke that they made when he was going through?
He looks exactly
he does kind of look like him with that hair. Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying it. That looks like a young Jared Padalecki from Gilmore Girls. That's and I can't unsee it now. So.
It bothered me the whole time. I think he's a very good actor. It bothers me that he looks so much like him. It's not Sokka for me.
Well, it also doesn't help that, I mean, last time I checked that he's not indigenous and took the part anyway, and they let him keep it. And I was like,
yeah.
I thought that was the rumor, but he ended up like one of the nations ended up like saying like, no, he's a member or something.
Well, the one that he named was one that's fraudulent, and that's what I'm saying. I would have to see if somebody updated it if he actually named a real one, because the one that he named was fraudulent.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Yeah. I don't remember. I'll see if I could find the article.
I'm hoping it was proven, because otherwise that is just such.
No, yeah, because otherwise that's gross. And if they kept him like that's surprising, because like not just like it's a bad thing to do, obviously, but it's surprising like from a PR standpoint. Like I feel like they would have been dragged all over the internet everywhere for doing that.
Well, the thing is, it popped up very, very briefly when somebody called him out on it, and then it vanished. So I am assuming that their PR team buried the story. Because like I said, the last time I Googled it, I did not see anything conclusive stating that he named a real one, but I am fully ready to accept it if he does. Because again, I don't want that to be the case. Because that is just such an awful thing to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I remember last time what we started out with winning was not where we ended up. It's early.
Okay, so the Cherokee Nation said that the nation that he claimed part of is part of the Cherokee Nation. It's not recognized by the Canadian government. That's his branch of the Cherokee Nation is not recognized by the Canadian government, but I don't fucking care what the Canadian government. I will listen to what the Cherokee Nation tells me over what the Canadian government tells me.
Good.
But why?
Or who to recognize as an indigenous person.
Everybody's still surprised it's made it into a kids show.
Yeah.
The moment with Sokka.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of
it was great, though.
Sexual things.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. There was a couple of like really overtly sexual scenes with Azula where I was like, whoa, she's a child. Like this is
I was gonna say that's a funnier thing about as you get older, like when I see teen characters do things, I just like I clutch my pearls now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I'm 35 and a half, and so I just anytime I see anything with kids, I'm like, ugh.
There's I forgot the name of that show.
Yes, and that's true. Adla is only nominally a kid show. I was gonna say
that's fair. Though what they do very well is talking about very serious topics in a way that I feel like children will understand, but it's not dumbed down in any way. It's done in a very healthy way that children can understand.
Well, it's why we all really congregated around Batman the Animated Series. It did the same thing. It is a kids show, but they showed us mature concepts and wrote it in a way that the children could understand it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It softens it with the humor too. Mm-hmm. It puts that little bit of like separation between, real life because of the fact that it's a cartoon, and especially like all of the physical comedy that takes place.
And that's kind of why when you asked me I hadn't watched the live action, I never will, because to me, the animation is what makes this so good. I don't ever want to see it in a 3D space because the humor, so much of the humor is lost because they can't make facial expressions. They can't do these funny, the movements that they do. It's not possible in 3 dimensions.
Great minds think alike. That is literally the examples that we gave when we were comparing the two. Yeah. The humor, and that's why the live action is just not as humorous. It doesn't have those comedic elements that the animated series does. It's much, and that's why people constantly say it feels much more serious, and that's why.
Well, they can't do the physical comedy at that point.
No.
I mean, think about even in My Cabbages, like stuff like that. Yes, you can do My Cabbages, but without the funny flail and the voice.
It's
and
not the same.
Just,
there's the only thing I'll give the live action on the Cabbages front is they got the guy that voice acted the Cabbages guy to play the Cabbages guy.
Okay, good. I was hoping for that. Okay,
I'll give them that. The thing that I really like that they did in the live action, and I would suggest, even if you could find like clips on YouTube, is the fighting. It's very reminiscent, and I feel like you're probably going to agree with me on this. I loved and grew up watching old school kung fu theater movies, and as a nerd as well, I'm sure you did too. Most of us did. And the fighting is very, very good. And it's fun to watch. So I would at least watch like some of especially the what's her name? The earth bending avatar.
Toph. Oh, you mean the earth-bending avatar? Sorry. Oh,
yeah.
I have to remember.
Kyoshi, Avatar Kyoshi.
It is Kyoshi. I was going to say.
Yeah, the Kyoshi episode is freaking fantastic.
Oh, okay.
This episode, Kaya was originally supposed to be Katara's name. Also, that was, but they changed it. I don't know why they changed it. The naming conventions for all the water tribe are obviously indigenous Arctic people. They take a little bit of stuff from like Asian indigenous like Arctic dwelling people and Canadian Americans, indigenous Arctic dwelling people. There's Inuit stuff, and I don't know what the proper terminology is for.
Well,
like
it could also be that a
Inuit.
consonant is easier to say and spell than Kaya, because I was going to say Katara for a kid. Yeah, I can see that being easier.
Saka.
Just like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, but I flashed back to that movie that doesn't exist, and I just thought about Ong and how much I want to just.
Oh my god. There's been only a couple of movies in my life that I wanted to get up and walk out in, and that was one of them.
It was worse because we knew going in it was going to be terrible, but we were going, okay, maybe somehow it won't be as bad as we think. No, it was as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah. In some cases, worse. The guy that's playing Zuko, one of the things that I really liked that they did with him in the live action show is they did this thing with they showed his room in the first episode, like when we got him on the Fire Nation ship with Iroh, like in the first episode of the animated series. They did it very similarly in the live action show, but the way they showed his room for in the live action show, it looked a lot more like a child who like is in love with like a professional wrestler, or like likes a professional wrestler and has like posters of them all over his room. But it was the Avatar. You know, like he had different depictions of the Avatar everywhere. He had books on the Avatar but they were like stories, and he had like chapters highlighted with like Post-its coming out and stuff. It looked like he was a fan of the Avatar more than he was researching the Avatar. And they said that they did that they did that specifically because that's what they wanted to kind of bring out, which was cool. And like just a lot like Zuko does in the show, they played it up a little more in the live action. It was more like he was disappointed to find out the Avatar was only a child, and like that he was going to be a pushover, but then got more into it once Aang was actually like, he fought Aang and like, oh no, he can defend himself. He is a good fighter. I was right to think he's going to be, a good fighter and, powerful and things like that. I'm sure he kind of looked up to them a little bit because, we all know that there's that little core of Zuko that is good, even in the beginning, thanks to his mom. These episodes are sad, but nothing holds a candle. Yeah. Nothing holds a candle to Leaves on a Vine.
Oh yeah.
If I ever need to cry at any time, like all I have to do is think of that.
The one that always gets me is when Iroh hugs Zuko after he forgives him. I can't. If I even talk, like literally, you'll hear it in my voice. If I even talk about it, I start to get choked up.
I get it. Oh, and that's another. So here's another scene. That's another scene that the live action show did really well. The scene when Zuko leaves the ship at the end of season 1 to go attack the pool, like where the fish are. In the Northern Mortar tribe, they have a whole moment that doesn't happen in the animated show. That's really like amazing. Iroh goes to tell him like, I've always thought of you as like my son, but he doesn't get to say my son. He gets all choked up and starts to cry. And Zuko just says, I know. And then they hug. And I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it.
I know, right? That whole just, God, they wrote that so well.
I know.
They always joke about that when you're an author. It's like, what's something you wish you wrote? I was like, Zuko's arc is one I wish I wrote that. Iroh's arc, I wish I wrote that.
Yeah. And I'm
sure everybody's arc. What am I talking about? Ain't nobody
I know
in
this
here
whole
have that
fucking.
arc.
I tell people like the few people that I've gotten to watch this that hadn't watched it before, but were against watching it because it was animated. Like that, I'm not gonna watch that. It's a cartoon. I'm like, listen, this show is a masterclass in writing, just by itself. Just like watching it for the writing of the characters and the character arcs and the show itself and the world building. Watch it just for that. And everyone that has watched it that I've told that to, they're like, you were absolutely right.
Well,
sure I agree as well.
I liken it to Cowboy Bebop. Even people who don't watch anime like Cowboy Bebop. It is so good, it transcends its own medium. Like I've convinced like boomers. Boomers are the most stubborn about anime, and even boomers have watched Cowboy Bebop and went, okay, no, that was legit as hell.
Marasu, what's up, Marasu? You know what? Think what we have right now is fully realized Zuko. Everyone isn't fully realized yet. Katara will be at the end of this episode or at the end of this little arc of her going to see this guy. But we have the fully realized Zuko here. So Zuko, I think what he's doing is giving Katara the same opportunity that Iroh gave him, letting him go through the motions of the thing to get to the point where she has to make the right decision.
Yes. And letting her make that choice and not influencing it.
Yeah. Because it's most important that she is the one that makes that decision. Like that's where it'll be like, yes, Zuko can tell her that maybe that's not the right thing to do. And he did kind of try to, dissuade her from doing it before they left, but a little bit, not hard. But I think that's because he knew she needed to be the one to choose not to do it.
Yeah. Really, really well written.
Yeah. So those two guys, man, we talked about this last week. One of the things I really like to do is when I find a TV show or a movie that I really like the writing of, I go and I look up the writers and then I go watch other things they've written. They've not written anything else. It's everything they've done has been Avatar. Like that's it.
Wow.
I'm like, I want you guys to do other stuff just because I want to watch more of your brains. Like I would like you to do other things just so I could see more stuff that comes out of your head. Please. Thank you.
It's funny when that happens. I was thinking about, as you were talking, the guys from, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. It's an actor. The guy who voiced Jafar only voiced Jafar and nothing else ever again.
That's crazy.
I know, because he was so good.
Dave Filoni did write. He wrote a bunch of scripts and he helped direct a few of the episodes in season 1. I think he also came back and helped direct some of the. He has writing credit in season 1 too. Oh my god! I think he came back and directed some season 3 episodes as well. I'm not sure though. I might be making that up. But that's just another reason why the show is so freaking good.
Oh yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. It could be also like when the stars align and you get somebody who makes a magnum opus and everything just goes perfectly, and then that could be it. It was like, oh no, what if I never do that again?
Yeah, I think it's heavy. You don't want to try something else and fail because this is your legacy right now. The greatness is your legacy. Yeah. So yeah, I feel that.
I'm cautiously optimistic for the new. I don't know if you know about it, Kyoko. The Nickelodeon.
They announced the one where they're going to be aged up, which we've been begging them for a decade. I'm with you. I'm nervous. I would
Yeah.
like to believe that we're going to do this right. I like to believe
it's
that.
the original creators. They have full creative control. No one is going to be doing anything else. Nickelodeon gave them their own production studio to do everything in-house the way they want to do it. So hopefully, you know, it's good. I'm very cautiously optimistic, but the fact that they have full creative control makes me feel better about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God. One of the things that I like that they do in the show is how we get a lot of this backstory is pieced together over all 3 seasons. Like we got a little bit of this story from obviously in season 1, the first few episodes. And then they talk about it again when Aang, another horrible scene, which is tear jerking, when Aang finds Monk Gyatso's body at the air temple. And then even when Hama is doing her flashback scenes of when she was captured, the bloodbender that Katara learns from, we get some more of that story then because they show the attack and stuff like that. So it's just really an interesting way that they do the storytelling, and I enjoy it a lot. This is also the second and final time we ever see Katara blood.
Oh wow.
This moment is so awesome. I stole it and put it in a book. Not even gonna lie to you.
That's really? I mean, like, every author I've ever spoken to, like, good authors borrow, you know, from other authors, and great authors steal outright. But, like, you know, obviously there's ways to do that it's not like just plagiarism. Like, there's plenty of authors that plagiarize things.
Oh yeah, you don't do blatant theft. You do, make it an homage.
Yeah, paying homage to great scenes and great authors is how these things continue to live on. And that's a great thing to do, I think, especially with Avatar. I've stolen entire Avatar storylines and used them in D&D campaigns that I've DM'd. So
you should, because it's excellent.
Yeah, most of their quote unquote filler episodes are great little one shots that you can do with pretty much any D&D campaign. And we're gonna go. So the episode's obviously almost over. We're gonna just let it play right into the next episode. So if you're following along, I'll reset the timer and all that jazz and reline it up for you. If you're watching in the watch party, just hang out and it'll play right into the next episode. I think just the showing that Katara has that darkness in her, but that she was able to overcome it herself and all that. That's just another. Another level to the writers that shows how freaking great they are and how making such well-rounded characters.
Well, especially she needed it too, because people are a little hard on Katara out of the whole group. A lot of people are harder on her than anyone, and so I think she really needed this.
Yeah. Well, and that's because they kind of write her to be like the mom. She's the group mom, and which is kind of why I always kind of wished they made it. I ship her and Zuko more than her and Aang.
I'm the opposite. I was like, I get why you guys ship it, but I was like, no.
It's mainly because she acted like Aang's mom for so long that, like, I kind of
that's what most people cite why they don't ship it. They were like, they made her too maternal at the beginning, and so him developing feelings of her reciprocating it felt like mildly incestuous. So I get that part. I just wouldn't have put them together at all. I would have left that platonic, but that's me.
That's fair. And the other thing that I like that the live action does, which is reminding me right now because it's the opening theme, is in the opening theme, there's this really cool shot, and I'll see if I can get a screenshot of it, of like, so you had Roku there doing like some firebending on the top of like that little mountain or whatever you want to call it. There's a scene where it shows like a staircase leading up into the sky, and it fades up into the sky, and it has all of the avatars on it. And Roku kind of walking up the stairs and joining Kyoshi and whatever his name was. I can never remember that waterbender's name. Something with a K. and it's just a really cool scene. I like that scene. Yay, armored Appa. Like, I don't know why I like. I mean, like, he's going into war, and that's scary for Appa. I just like his armor. Makes me. I like when he gets accessories. And I love how they're still showing the wound in his back, in Aang's back so prominently. Because Aang still isn't fully realized Aang yet. Aang still has a little bit more growing to do.
Oh my god, I laughed out loud at this when I
The
first saw
poster
it.
is so great. Sexy CW drama. Yeah.
So typically when people ask about the best.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying when people talk about the best fourth wall breaks, it's usually this and the French Mistake from Supernatural. Always my top 10.
Oh yeah. So speaking of Supernatural, you're right. You're absolutely right, Marsu. If it was one of those sexy CW high school drama type things, you're 100% right. It would have been a love triangle, 100%. My favorite reaction is Toph's reaction to her character. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yes. Okay, good. You're with me because Toph's reaction was everything. I'm a giant muscular man. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, my character sounds like a huge dude. Yeah. She gets so excited.
It was so funny. So funnily enough, Toph is my mom's favorite, and so the voice actress came through Atlanta, I think, last year, and so I got it for her birthday.
Yay! Michaela. It's so there's some stuff that they do in this that is great. There's the scene when they get Jet, the scene with Jet, and they finish that scene, and then I forgot who looks over at them and says something. Someone looks over at them and he's like, "So what happened to Jet? Did he die?
Did he die?" And it was really unclear. I love that became a meme too. Everybody was like, every time there's ever been like a really ambiguous death. The most recent one, spoiler alert, was Multiverse of Madness. Somebody superimposed that over that because they were like, "Is Wanda dead?" I don't know. It was really unclear.
I love how they make fun of themselves in this episode a lot. They
do. It's really, or just like guitar. It's making me tear bend.
It's just such a good sign of like such a good. It makes me feel like they're probably good dudes. The writers, like it's a sign of a good sense of humor, being able to have that level of self-deprecation and like acknowledgement of things like that. Oh my god. It makes me want to tear bend. That's gonna be stuck in my head now.
I know.
We have references to soup bending, tear bending, sweat bending.
My stomach, it's so empty.
I'm a girl.
I need meat. This is so great. The what you call it? I was just trying to think of what else Michaela has been in. She's been in a ton of stuff, but it's all been obviously voice acting. I feel like she should probably act though. She did a character in excuse me. Whew, I am a little tired. She did a character in Katara too. I mean, not Katara, Korra. Wow, I am tired. But I don't remember who it was. And Scar's on the wrong side. It's pretty spot on for me. I like how all of the
Massages.
the characters hate their actors, like their depictions in the play, except Toph too. Toph is also one of the more well mentally put together characters. Like, not that she doesn't have anything going on in there, but like, you know, she's more, you know, accepting and whole, and not like she has less character flaws than the others. And they're not really flaws. It's just like some growing that they still need to do, because they're mostly just still kids too.
I really hope this happens. I would love to see this live action. I bet it would be hilarious.
Oh my god, that would be really great.
But they have to really nail it, just because this is, again, arguably one of the best episodes of the entire show.
So good.
Yeah, they got to lean into it really hard. Like, get like some huge like freaking The Rock to come and play Toph or something. Oh, fun fact! Did you know
this? It needs to be a ridiculous casting gag.
The boulder from the Blind Bandit episodes, like the early episodes when we first saw Toph, the other like wrestling references that they had, the guy that played the boulder, the guy that voiced the boulder was actually originally supposed to be The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson. And that's why he's named the boulder.
Oh,
but
wow.
their timing didn't work out and he wasn't able to come and do it, but he really wanted to do it. Apparently he enjoyed season 1 a lot.
Oh,
okay. He's just writing on his head.
It just gave me so much hope.
Oh, here we go.
His hair is fantastic.
I like how they gave him like Super Saiyan hair. He's got Super Saiyan hair. He's got Super Saiyan Goku hair.
Right. The other thing I want to mention that was hilarious to me is, so Dante Bosco came to MomoCon back in 2015, and that's how I met him. And so I had him sign a really nice Zuko fan art that I had. What did he do? He wrote "honor" on it. I lost my crap laughing. That was so sweet. He is so sweet. He's just the cutest.
Yeah, that's true. Marsu, I guess. I think she's supposed to be like 12. She's like, I think she's her and Aang are the youngest. She's either 12 or 13. My girlfriend became the moon. Trying to watch.
And see, those are the moments that just don't translate. The big teary eyes. The live action is so much more serious. It's just much more intense. What this show would be without the humor. That being said,
it's a different experience. It's a completely different show in that vein. Like, it's just not the same show at all.
I've watched
and it's not that it's worse. It's just it's not
different.
giving me. Yeah, it's very, 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 very different. You can't go into it expecting anything really remotely like even just the feeling that you get from watching this.
I think Reverse said it really well last night on the other show. He said it's like recency bias. Like, the first time I watched the live action, I was like, this is terrible. I don't like it. It's awful. And I watched it again and again. And yeah, no, it's grown on me, because you just have to take it as something different.
I had a harder time accepting the live action Avatar than I did Wheel of Time.
Fair.
So part of your mission is the best part of the play.
Yeah.
Oh, Zuko.
God. I need to buy a new Melon Lord shirt. I lost my melon. I have a Melon Lord shirt. I lost it though. I need to buy a new one. I keep forgetting. I mentioned it like 2 weeks ago too, and I just forgot to do it by the end of the stream. Though I got a notification that my pre-ordered weighted Appa will be coming soon.
What?
Nice.
Yes.
I'll have to check my spam, because I did not get it.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, right. Make sure to go check out Matt Stagger, Jen, and Max, or Sinister Death, over on Discord. Most of the Wheel of Time people know him as. They have their the adaptation over on their channel, which maybe Aaron can share for me in a minute, or I'm sure Glenn has a link handy he can share.
It's been really fun. I watched it last night. I was very proud of Reverse. They only went over by like 5 minutes. I mean,
That's-
he did not tangent, but I think it's because he didn't have you. It wasn't, Although then I heard rumors that he continued to talk once they were off for quite a long time. So that tracks.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh yes, and I love having referenced his horrible hair too. It's a completely different hairstyle, but it's equally as horrible as his hair was in those seasons too.
It's very flowy. It's nice blowout.
It's true.
Nice blowout. I still love that they decided that Toph sees people by shooting sonic waves out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like how they have the also obviously this is meant to be just like a funny, whatever bit that they're doing here. But the way that they're doing it is very much the way you would have seen stage acting in like China or Japan or especially like those guys that are dressed as ninjas. That's where the idea of ninjas comes from. Ninjas, like people who practice the art of ninjutsu and were ninjas, did not dress like those guys on stage. Those guys on stage are where the idea of ninjas being dressed like that came from. That is how the people who would move stuff around in the background of plays dressed. It was really unclear. Oh, so great.
I did love that they wrote a little bit with some of the people falling asleep, I guess in parts that people didn't like.
Yeah. I thought this was a great way to do a recap, to be honest. Especially like I said, because of all of the ways that they're willing to, make fun of themselves in it and accept a lot of the fan stuff and things like that. It shows that I really like when they show that they pay attention to their fan communities and things that their fans are saying by doing stuff in their own show.
Well, it's what I loved about Supernatural, because before we got to the French Mistake, they did that con episode in which, so people don't know this, my legal name is not very common. I never hear it out loud, especially not in a TV show. But that was one episode where one of the minor characters, not only was it the right spelling, it was the same pronunciation as my name. So I was like, when I tell you, I almost lost my mind.
That's fantastic.
I was like, Jensen just said my name. Jared just said my name.
You got to clip it now and make it like a ringtone or something.
Right. I need it. The only other time in my entire life it's ever happened, there's an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And the girl it's the Oprah episode. So the girl that Will was dating, for whatever reason, has my name in the same pronunciation as well. So I have exactly 2 that I treasure in my little heart.
What? I loved The Great Divide. I thought that was great. I thought that was a fun episode. They also have the craziest animals in that episode. They're the most crazy looking monstrous version of any animal that we get, those weird canyon crawler bug, they kind of look like the bugs from Starship Troopers a little bit.
Ooh, yuck.
This is a fun episode. They even make fun of Ty Lee and May, which is fun. Even though Ty Lee is probably the coolest character.
She's awesome. She's so fun.
All right.
And like you said, talking about new ones.
Then, Marsu. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying it goes back to what you were saying. The fact that they gave them little personalities and they weren't like, oh, you're supposed to just not like them because they're Finnish evil. It's like, no, they actually have personalities and beliefs, and Mai changes her mind and goes against what, Azula was trying to make her do. Yep.
The whole arc with Mai, Azula, and wow, I just said her name one second. Ty Lee. My brain was screaming Pai Mei, from Kill Bill, but their whole little story arc, both individually and together, was a lot of fun. There's a lot of really good scenes. If you go back and watch the the beach episode.
I love the beach episode. That's my other favorite other than this one.
There's some great scenes between the three of them where you see Azula kind of be normal, like just like completely let down her guard and like just be like a normal person with the two of them. And then like she'll realize it and snap back into being like a bitch and treat them like shit. But there are moments when she's like a true friend with them, like in conversation for a minute. And I feel like maybe that's why they stay friends with her, other than like, you know, she kind of threatens to kill them sometimes if they don't. But the fact that and in that episode that they like flesh them out a bit too and give them some backstory, like Ty Lee and May, when they talk about their, you know, childhood and stuff. Oh, this is great too. I love that they did that. Man, the writing is so genius. This is like the third time she's gotten to use that little meeting that like 2-minute meeting that they had in season 2 in a random episode, bring it back and use it so powerfully in a moment in the show, like right now, like the third or fourth time they've done it. Scars on the wrong.
Oh, Zuzu. Poor Zuzu.
Oh, so great. I would kill to have that Appa that they have backstage, like just sitting in my living room right now. Like that would be wonderful. Oh, this is great. He used the idea I gave him. He used my joke or something like that.
I do like this little friendship moment between Toph and Zuko.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Toph is probably, I want to say, like next to Katara, I feel like Toph is the oldest soul in the group.
Yes. Yes. Toph is a very old soul.
Yeah. Oh man, such a good episode. I love this show so much. The I'm pretty excited.
Did he? I forgot.
No, go ahead. You're the
no, I was trying to remember. Does Sokka voice both himself and the other actor, or is the other actor somebody else?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out. I wonder if we can know that. Who voiced fake Sokka in Ember Island Players? On his quest, he's trying to...
Come on, Aang, consent.
Avatar, Ember Players. Scott Menville is... I saw, yeah, same guy.
Oh, okay. So I was... Okay, now it is. He's Robin from Teen Titans. That's why my brain did that. It went, isn't he somebody you know? It's Robin from Teen Titans.
He's one of the guys that does all the additional voices in this too. I don't know. I didn't recognize his name right off the bat. Menville. What did he do? Yes, Teen Titans. Yep.
Oh my god.
He's
so excited.
Like, yeah.
He used my line. Oh my god, Sokka.
It's great too. By the end of the play, they all like their characters too. They're all happy with it. No, actually, someone else did the voices of all of them, but it's mostly people who did like additional voices throughout the show. From what I saw. They have like a whole group of people that did like pretty much a smattering of every other voice in the show other than the main reoccurring characters.
I still remember, I don't know what I think either my brother or my parents started watching this before I did, but the day that I heard Ozai and it was Mark Hamill and I didn't know it was Mark Hamill, woo,
everything.
I shit a brick. It was that voice, he reached inside himself and just found the most terrifying thing. I wasn't ready. I was just not ready for it.
Such a great actor. Oh man, it doubly makes me sad. We talked about Batman the animated series before, and obviously Mark Hamill did Joker in that. It makes me sad for Kevin Conroy.
I know. It's been 2 years. I'm still not over it.
It's always going to be.
He was a father to a lot of people. That was the thing that was so, like, I cried for days just because so many people were posting stories about meeting him and what he meant to them, and it was across the board, and it was wild because it was so many people that he entertained and touched with his work, and just him being the kindest, sweetest guy in the whole world. Honestly,
there was a lot of great posts from like people that did cameos on that show, like people that were one-off villains or one-off heroes that were like, oh my god, I only met him like twice, but probably there's some really good ones.
Well, the one that was really cool is I went to Dallas Comic-Con for him, as a matter of fact, back in 2013, and I got to go to his panel. And so when he's up there, and they when you get to the portion where people are asking questions, one of the people asked him, hey, what's one of the most unusual voice acting jobs you've had, or if somebody asked you to do something really silly or whatever, and Kevin Conroy was having a hard time thinking of it. And so I went, Captain Sunshine, and he went, oh, Captain Sunshine. And he launches into this absolutely hilarious story, telling us how he ended up being Captain Sunshine. So for the people in the audience who don't know, Captain Sunshine is a character that Kevin Conroy was asked to voice on The Venture Brothers, which is an adult animation series by Adult Swim. I'm not going to explain what he's like because it's terrifying. But it let's just say that they purposely wrote him to be as disturbing as they could, so that Kevin would get in the booth and say these outlandishly horrifying things in his Batman voice.
That's amazing.
It was. I encourage all of you to look it up because it is so horrifying, but it was funny. Oh my goodness, it was so funny.
The timer's going to go off and make a sound if I don't stop it. Where is it? I was getting a picture of Captain Sunshine. There we go. I'm grabbing a picture of Captain Sunshine because I was like, oh, we got to share that. So you got to see Kevin Conroy. His I know he puts it on a little bit, but his normal voice is pretty much Batman. Pretty close to Batman.
It just is. That's exactly what he talks like.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it's so cool. Oh my god. I mean, the voice acting in that show and the voice acting in this show are also phenomenal. The amazing voice actors. Mako, another cool thing. There's Captain Sunshine, by the way.
There's Captain Sunshine, yeah. I just like to warn people. It was like when you hear it, it's gonna be really disturbing, but it was really funny. They did a great job with it, and it was so cute because he was saying that he's in the booth, and they're like, "Don't be scared to make it really sound like Batman. We really want to mess up the fans."
That's great.
So I was going to say, yeah, people, you should definitely look up that story he tells. So I would go to YouTube and do a Dallas Comic-Con Kevin Conroy panel, and that one you'll hear it on there.
The cool thing about one of the interview that I saw, the most recent interview I saw with him, was he was talking about Mark Hamill, and when he first heard that he was going to do the voice of the Joker. And he was questioning it. He was like, "What? The guy that was Luke Skywalker?" Like, he's like, how? Like, he couldn't see it at all. And he said, after hearing him do the Joker for so many years, Mark Hamill's voice was in many of his nightmares. Like, as a person.
I can imagine. One of the things that I got, and again, this is funny, as you get older, things that start to bother you more. I watched Return of the Joker to the degree that I can probably recite it from memory. That's how many times I watched it as a kid. I was obsessed with Batman Beyond. I still am. Well, I got older, And I thought about the climax of the story in which, you know, the Joker strangles Terry. And I was like, as I get older, it freaks me out way more because, again, maybe because I'm 35 and he was 17 at the time. It's like, that's really personal. That's a really personal way to kill someone. Terry made him so angry that there were no more jokes, no more gimmicks, no like fish, no gat. No, I put my hands around that boy's neck and tried to strangle him to death. It really freaks me out now that I'm older. I get to that part and I just kind of go, because that's just wow.
Yeah, I had an article open from to see what the actor's name was that voiced the fake versions of them, and there was I had left it open, but I saw something else in it that was interesting. The girl that plays Suki, like the character Suki, did Yue's voice in the Ember Island Players.
That's cute.
And I thought that was an interesting way they do that. And it made me remember the name of the play. It was Kabuki Theater was the name of the theater, the type of theater that they would do where the guy would be dressed like a ninja, and where that depiction famously comes from. I don't know why it took me 10 minutes to remember that, but it did. Anywho,
you still have con brain. It's okay.
Con brain. Yep.
Yeah, it's very true. I was fine until we got to the airport, and like I stopped being like fed by the energy of everyone around me, and then I was like asleep walking through the airport.
Yeah, that hits.
So one of the things that we started doing, and I'll just to remind, I'm pretty sure everyone in chat probably knows this by now, but I like to say it again. One of the things that we started doing since we started Avatar Book 3 was at the end of each episode, we do a little inside the actor's studio styled interview with our guest. Because one of the things I felt like we were falling short on when we would do these episodes with our guests was like throwing the attention well back on our guest when we would finish Avatar and like making sure everyone sees who they are. And I was trying to think of like, you know, I wrote some interview questions, and I was like, you know, looking up good interviewers that I like, people that I like how they do interviews. And I landed on like my favorite interviews ever. My favorite interviewer ever is James Lipton. And like I don't think he's an amazing interviewer in any way. I just think his interviews with the actors were very entertaining, and I liked the questions that he did. And growing up, I used to watch the crap out of Inside the Actor Studio. And this is 100% I'm using my platform for purposes to get something for myself. But only because there's so many people in chat that you guys, and you're in different states, the possibility is greater. If you happen to go to a thrift store and you see Inside the Actor Studio in like the used DVD bin, please buy it and send it to me, and I will pay you. I promise. I'll send you some cool Wheel of Time swag that I have sitting around in here. I'm sure from Tor or something. But I've been trying to find it forever. It's expensive. Like on Amazon Prime, the individual episodes are like almost $10 an episode, and like to buy it on eBay is like hundreds of dollars. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
you can tell if sometimes, unfortunately, there's points where either they didn't circulate them enough, or it wasn't popular enough, and they just ran off not enough. Because that happened to me before Disney Plus for the longest time. Kim Possible was impossible, fun to get, because for whatever reason, it looks like they didn't run off like a copy of like the entire complete series. So for literally years, it was $60 a season. Until finally Disney Plus came along, and then they went, okay, yeah. And so then they put it on a nice little DVD that's like $30 or something. And again, you can watch the entirety of it on streaming now. But I was like, for a while there, I was so exasperated because you could only catch it on Disney XD. That was the only place it was playing.
You know that's because some Disney executive was like, oh, no one wants to buy a cartoon with a girl as the main character. Who cares?
Yes. You can tell there was some jerk sitting in a booth somewhere going, just run off like 100,000 of those DVDs. Who gives a shit?
But at the end of all of the Inside the Actor Studio interviews, he would ask like a list of 10 questions. We took those questions. 4 of them are taken right from James Lipton. I'm not gonna lie, only because they're good questions and they're fun, I feel like. And then the others are kind kind of themed for nerdy stuff. That's what we're here for. You know, we like Wheel of Time, we like TV shows, Avatar. We've done so many shows at this point, covering so many different fandoms. So I figured it was good to kind of open it up to just anything. So like some of our questions will just be in reference to any fiction you want. Could be video games, could be movies, comic books, TV shows, whatever you want. All right. So Crystal, you want to start us off?
Yeah. The first one is, what is your favorite word? And I always love hearing this from authors. I feel like they come up with the very best words.
I don't know that I have a favorite. We'll just name one that I like to say, bombastic.
Oh,
Good one.
I just think it's
Good
a
one.
fun word. Like when that lady came up with that meme, bombastic
side eye. Yeah.
It's the greatest. The way that she says it is perfect. I can listen to it 100 times.
Absolutely.
Like I love that word. Bombastic side eye.
It's so great. It's so great. I absolutely agree with you. All right. And what is your least favorite word?
Mine is a phrase. I do not know why. I hate stomping ground. I don't know why I hate it. For some strange reason, that phrase, it just sounds like stupid to me. Maybe it's because I'm literal and I'm thinking of someone like stomping around. I don't know why, but I've never liked that phrase.
Do we know the origin?
So
Do we know the origin of it?
I
wonder.
don't. I don't know.
Gnome? Maybe he knows.
Oh, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah, Aaron agrees with you. Great minds.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. What's an everyday sound that you really enjoy, that you love?
I've always
Like,
loved
for me,
running
it's
water. The reason you see these headphones is I have the condition called misophonia, which is basically where certain sounds trigger your fight or flight response. It's not fun. And there's no cure.
Wow.
Yeah, sucks. I get triggered by car engines and bass music if someone else is playing it. And if I can play it myself, then it doesn't bother me. But if other people do it like really loud, it bothers me. So I play rain sounds in these 24/7. And so that, it's.
Does it give you like? I mean, can I ask? Is it like?
Yeah, it keeps me calm.
Wow.
It's like a mild panic attack. That's exactly what happens. Is that you hear it and it kind of. Again, that's why they're still trying to understand what it is, whether it's audio or neurological, because again, it snaps you into a fight or flight state when it shouldn't, because again, it's just a sound, but you don't have control over it. It just does that. So like you basically have to just structure your whole, so I have to kind of structure my whole like life around it now, unfortunately, but like I said, it is what it is. So that's why rain sounds are my favorite. Like they keep me calm, and I also just like it blocks out any other sound. And so
being able to identify it is great. At least then, at least it's helpful to be able to avoid it. Like I'm sure like there was probably a time when you weren't sure what the sound was, right? I'm guessing. And like having to find it, like that's like you never know what's going to do it. That's scary. Yeah, that makes sense. So like, animals, how they kind of like stomp on the ground. So that makes sense. I get it. It's still, I just feel like it's overused so much.
Yeah.
That term.
It's just something about the way it sounds. I can't explain it, but it bothers me. I've never used the phrase and I never will. It's not in any of my work and it never will be.
Fair enough. So I think then you might be able to easily figure out the answer to the next question is, what is a sound, an everyday sound that you don't like or that you hate?
Yeah, car engines and people blasting bass inside their home or in cars. I absolutely can't stand it. Just can't stand it.
It's entirely fair. I hate when you hear like, you can hear like the license plate vibrating from like a quarter mile away.
Similar vein. So people don't realize when they like have a conversation through their car that it projects out of their car. So when you're like sitting at a stoplight and you can hear someone's whole ass conversation in the car next to you, that just makes me absolutely crazy.
It's really annoying. And then also that's also like psychological. Your brain, when you hear other conversations, even if you can't hear the other half, that's what it bothers you, because your brain is trying to fill in the entire conversation. So if you hear one half of the conversation, no, that actually is bothering your brain.
Absolutely. I also just think like, okay, like I understand like not noticing in a car that like that how easily it projects out because of like, I'm sure like, especially if you have one window open, all the sound is kind of getting pushed out the window. But the thing that really bothers me is when people just very loudly talk on phones, like in very public areas.
Oh God, walking through, yeah.
Oh, anyone
I
feel free to
refuse.
use this, by the way. I answer them as if they're talking to me. I just reply to the person as if they're talking to me. That's what I do.
Yep.
I don't blame you. It is so rude, and I can't believe we live in a society that people keep doing it. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. Like,
Or
I'm
doing
just
it when they're
oh.
like checking out at the store, literally having a whole conversation when this poor person in front of you is like ringing up your groceries. It is, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
won't do it.
obnoxious.
If I was somehow already on the phone, which I never am in public, it has to be a vital conversation for me to do that. I literally go, hey, 1 second. I put the phone down, complete the transaction, and then pick the phone back up. I am sorry. I will never talk on the phone in front of a retail person.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's
So rude.
people are weird.
They are.
Okay, so these next questions are the ones that are all going to be about fictional things. It can be movies, video games, comic books, whatever you want.
And
Who do
the
you
first
think?
two are meant to be like general, like not for you. You'll get
Not
it
for
when
you.
you
Yep. So who do you think would make the best partner or spouse, and why? So not for you, but just who do you think has the characteristics of the very best partner or spouse for someone?
I hate answering this question because I have an answer, but it's going to make me so mad to say it. Harry Dresden.
Okay.
Harry Dresden would be the most bomb-ass husband. Oh my God. I can't emphasize to you, he was so doting. Like you would come home and he would like fill your whole house with flowers and he would like give you a back massage.
And he's freaking hilarious. And
he is hilarious. He's funny. He's gonna be telling dad jokes and shit. Like, no, he is 100% like my ideal husband, fictional husband. It's always Harry Dresden. But like I said, given my very, very antagonistic relationship with Jim Butcher, I don't like to say it very much.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. I love I really enjoy the Dresden Files as well. And
reverse. I said Harry Dresden from the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, which is a urban fantasy series.
Great urban fantasy series. If you enjoy urban fantasy, you should check it out. The first book he wrote as his college thesis, and his college professor told him it would never be published. So fun fact. You know about Jim Butcher? Any hoozles. All right. And then who do you think would make the worst spouse?
Taylor Swift? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I violently hate her. Who's been getting on my nerves lately?
Who's been getting on my nerves?
Who's been getting on my nerves? Okay, let's say the guy from Fallout, the one Maximus.
Okay.
I hated him. I hated him. It was ridiculous how much I could not stand him.
I was not a fan of him either. Like, I think they did that in a really interesting way, making like his character so easy to hate. Like such like not a good character. I like that
toady.
They did that.
Like the word that came to mind was a toady. Like he's just such a toady. I'm looking forward to what we're gonna do in a future season, just because I need to understand what that arc was, because it was just like, what's wrong with him? Like I didn't get it. I didn't understand him especially since it was such a vibrant and they did a good job with it being kind of like anthology style, where you get to see different plot line. Like you got to see all of the major plot lines for like Fallout 3 and 4 and some in 1 and 2. But like when we got to every time I cut back to him, I think I only watched 2 episodes, and then I started skipping literally all of his scenes. There's no point, because I don't care what you're going to say. So when he interacted with her, I missed all of it. I just skipped it. He just didn't.
I really enjoy it. I did enjoy Fallout though. I thought they did a great job.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely, and I'm totally going to watch another season, even though they're going to Vegas.
Me too.
Yeah, that's my only thing. Like, that's my hill that I die on. I violently hate New Vegas, and everybody tells me, no, it's the best one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
I hated it. I gave up in 30. I only finished 30% of that game, and I turned it off. I was like, this is just not for me. 3 and 4, love them to death, but like, no, I couldn't stand New Vegas. So that part I'll be a little bit annoyed because we're going into that for season 2. But like, no, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I just think that type of personality is someone that is so not productive for a marriage or just even a friendship, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So one of the common things that we do here in the Wheel of Time community is indoctrinate people to read the Wheel of Time. But
Yeah.
I accidentally indoctrinated somebody into reading Harry Dresden at WatCon because so he didn't have this was out of his words. He was like, I didn't have like a fun cosplay to wear, so I just grabbed something out of my closet that I thought looked cool and put it on. And he was wearing a leather duster and like a big wide brimmed hat. So I walked up to him and I was like, "Are you Harry Dresden?" And he's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, "Excuse me, because you're cosplaying as Harry Dresden right now." So I talked to him about it, and he actually entered into the cosplay contest as Harry Dresden.
Good for him!
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is
And
so
Maria
cute.
was like, Maria gave him a shout out at the end when they did like the judge's choice or whatever. She was like, "That was a great Harry." Maria is a Harry Dresden fan as well. It was a great costume. Blue jeans, sneakers, a con shirt, which if you read the Dresden Files, you'll know the reference to that, and a leather duster. That is Harry Dresden.
That's it.
It was perfect.
And then if you want extra points, you do the shield bracelet and the rings.
Yeah. This is one of his he's too broke to afford his little accessory errors.
Which he is certain points in the series anyway, so it is accurate.
Yeah. One of my favorite little aspects of the series is how like he's broke all the time, so he can't afford to do the magic things that he wants to do because making magic items is expensive.
Well, I joke that I like him because he is the only fictional character I know of that A is broke and B gets laid as infrequently as I do.
Oh my god!
I was like, Harry has no sex life, and I was like, I feel that, sir.
He has very little game.
No, he does have game. We actually, when he's concentrating, he's really good at it. But again, he's just
okay.
When
he does try too hard in the beginning, but I feel like he gets more confident later on. Yeah, you're right.
He does.
You're right.
I was gonna say, so his confidence like kicks in about halfway through, which is why we love watching him bicker with Murphy. It was like y'all were flirting long before you even knew you were flirting. Yes.
I'm so happy Reverse BLT is a Harry Dresden fan too. We're gonna go off on a tangent on that the next time we talk.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Now this one is for you. Oh no, sorry. This is Crystal's turn. I'm stealing her turn again. Sorry.
No, I think it's you.
Is it me? Okay.
I don't know.
It's me now. Okay. This one, like I said, the other ones were like in general. This one's for you. Is there any character at any time that you want to talk about? It doesn't have to be like right now, but any character from any form of fiction that you have a crush on?
Harry Dresden. So I put this into the chat so people can know about it. I literally am the queen of the Harry Murphy trash pile. So I have written 247,000 words of Harry Murphy fan fiction at this point.
I love it.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I quite literally am the queen of the show. Nobody else on the entire internet, to my knowledge, has a larger collection of that fan fiction.
Is that published anywhere that we can read?
It's on our car. It's on AO3. I don't mind telling people because it's like you can go look up that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, that's okay, cool. I'm
going to sue. Why are you going to sue? Oh, okay. He needs emotional damage. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. All right. That was my turn anyway.
Okay. So if you were given the opportunity to assume like a vocation or align with like any entity from any realm of fiction, what would you choose? Like, would you be an Aes Sedai? Would you be a Jedi? Would you be an Earthbender? Like, what would you do?
So the reason I am wearing blue today is that I think if I was in Avatar, I would be a waterbender.
Me too.
And I actually have a YA high fantasy, epic fantasy that I will publish someday. It's just not finished. And it takes it very heavily taken from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So what I did is I took the idea of bending and I set it in like a Lord of the Rings Middle Ages type of thing. And so in their world, they all are known as elementals, and so they all control an element except for the last two. So there's sky elementals, so they're people that have big angel wings, and then there are animal people who actually are like a animal person hybrid, kind of like a if you think about Goofy, for example, from Disney movies. So they're shaped like an animal, but they walk on two legs. And
what is it called? Anthropomorphic or whatever?
There you go.
Yeah,
that's good. Because I loved Avatar so much and all of the different things that they were able to tackle, I wanted to write it But I also wanted to write a high fantasy where it's not like all about the lore, because that's why I don't read or watch I knew somebody's gonna say furries.
Wow. Wow.
But I usually don't like to read high and epic fantasy because it's just like the gleeble gloops from the blorpity blorp went to the pillow farts, and like I can't do that. I can't do it. My brain is not built like that. Give me a story, give me character, and just let them do the thing. I don't need to know all of the like huge encyclopedia of like where these people came from and all of the made up rules and no. So I wrote it in a way that it is very streamlined and it doesn't have like a whole bunch of like extra exposition lore kind of things. And I'm really excited about it. I think it'll turn out really well. But like that's kind of how I felt about. I think if I could be anything, I'd like to be an elemental, somebody who could control. Like I said, I think I would probably pick water out of all of them.
Do you think you would have like a healing focus or a combat focus? If you had one, if you had a focus at all.
I think it would kind of be 50-50. I am like, so for example, when I play video games, which I can't play many because I'm very bad at them, but when I do, it's almost
that
always
shouldn't stop you. That should not stop you.
No, at all.
true. Yeah.
If you ever watch me stream on Twitch, that should not stop you. It doesn't stop me.
That's a comfort then. I play Fallout 3 and 4, and I can play Arkham Asylum, and I can play Arkham City. That's about all I can do. But I'm very cautious as a video game player. So everything I do is typically stealth. That's why I'm really good at Asylum, because most of it is like you sneaking around. When I got to the brawls, I always was like in trouble. But like all the sneaking portions, I was killing it. Yep. I was amazing at it. And so that's why I think I would be like kind of half on the defense, and then I think the other half I'd be fairly aggressive. I think I would use ice a lot. I think that's kind of how it would go if I was a vendor.
All right, so the next question. So that one was like kind of like a vocation, a job, a people, a group, or whatever that you would like to belong to. This one is, which one would you never want to do? Like, you know, it could be like the cleanup crew that comes in behind the superheroes, you know, when they're done and saving somebody or whatever, you know, anything. Or even just like another group that you would never want to belong to.
Immortal. So when people talk about, oh, if you could do any magic thing or be anything, I don't want to be a vampire. I do not want to be immortal. Immortality sounds horrible. It sounds absolutely horrible. I don't know how you would not simply go insane.
I think you can handle it for like the first 100 years, but as you get into like this, I've always thought about that.
Yeah, I think insanity just comes with, we need to die. I mean, so much of human life is based around the fact that you're going to expire. So you try to do all the things that you want to do before you get to that point. Yeah. So I was like, nah, I need to die because one, I mean, even though again, that it doesn't mean that you should be a good person because you're going to die. You need to be a good person because you need to be a good person. But I do think that dying makes a difference in how I choose to live my life. Like if I was just I think about Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is my literal worst nightmare. Literal worst one. I was like, oh my God. Especially since they never like canonically told you how long he was there, but people have said, okay, well, in order to master a piano the way that he did towards the end of that, they said a minimum of 10 years. I went, living the same day in that tiny town for 10 years.
Funny story, actually. I was talking to somebody about this within the last couple of months, and I was like, I wonder if they ever said it anywhere. And after like I don't want to say a few hours, maybe like an hour or so of like searching around, I found an interview with, I can't remember his name. The guy, so if anyone has seen, for the people who have seen Groundhog Day, there's a scene, and everyone thinks this guy is the devil, by the way, in the movie. The guy that plays the insurance salesman that sees Bill Murray and like he steps in the puddle. You know, he's like, oh, hi, it's Ned Ryerson. And he's got a hat and a trench coat on. The actor that played him did an interview. And the idea was the guy that wrote the movie, whose name I also can't remember, was Egon from the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis. And the idea was that by the end of the movie, Bill Murray's character achieves enlightenment. Mm-hmm. And that's because Harold Ramis was Buddhist. and it's said that you can't really do like in Buddhist teaching, it says like it would take someone meditating for 10,000 years to do that. And that's not meant to be literal in the writing that's from. It's meant to say that you can't do that. Like it's not possible to become perfect, or you can't do it in one lifetime, because they also believe in reincarnation. So that was Harold Ramis's response to that actor when he asked him how long he was there. He achieved enlightenment, and according to Buddhist writings, that would take 10,000 years. So somewhere in the vicinity of 10,000 years.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. They gave you like this. I just, that's still, I was like, there's no way I would fall into a depression. I don't know that I would ever get out of it. I don't know that I would ever get out of it. I really
just
don't.
Wake up in a catatonic state every day in that bed and
that's
stay
what I was
in
gonna
it
say. I feel like I would just stay in the bed. I don't think I would ever get up. It was like, what's the point? Because I can't kill myself. I can't leave the town. I don't know that I would have ever gotten to enlightenment the way he did.
And
no,
in that vein, I guess our next question would be, it could prompt an interesting response.
Oh, absolutely. So I think this last one's maybe the most difficult. It's at least like the deepest question that we asked. So is there any specific portrayal of the afterlife from any realm of fiction that like you wish could be true for you?
I actually like the one from Supernatural. I like the idea that when you die, you get your specific heaven. Like you're placed inside this your own little dimension, and whatever is the happiest that you can be, you get to be in that. Like, I thought that was beautiful, and it kind of makes sense in a way. Like, it's very harmonious, and especially since, again, we can't really conceptualize eternity because we're human. We can't wrap our heads around that. But if you were doing something that, if you were reliving a happy moment for all eternity, I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was a really neat idea of how they could do it. The other one I think was cool is actually from Constantine, which I took huge inspiration from for the Black Parade. And so now that, of course, is like, but in theirs, it was like hell was a whole hell. Each city has its own hell, like its own location. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because when you think about hell in terms of like the very generic, fire brimstone sort of way, you never thought of it as a specific location. You just thought that, oh no, this is hell. Hell is just a whole world in which, all the bad things happen. But that one was like hell LA and hell New York and like hell London or something. I was like, oh, that's an interesting concept of like that wherever you die, you go to that version of hell. You don't go to like a general hell. I thought that was kind of cool too. But yeah, my pick definitely would be the one from Supernatural. If I die and get to have an afterlife, that is what I think it would be like. Cool. You would have everybody there that you care about, and you just get to be fully content, and you just stay in that state until, forever.
Yeah. I'm really excited that they're making more Constantine. I hope that it's just as good and has the same kind of vein as the original one.
I'm terrified because I love that movie way too much. So I'm like, I can't see y'all not messing it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we do get them. We do get them every once in a while. You'll get a late sequel or a remake that was genuinely good. Like they tried to make it good, and it was actually good. So it can be done. And I know that Keanu has been trying to get that sequel off the ground for 20 years. So I know he cares about it enough. But
with Keanu involved, I'm excited too, because I know like he'll do a movie for free. I feel like if he needs to, if it's something that he's passionate about and wants to get done. Like he has often cut his salary so that they can get the right actor to be able to afford the right actor for the right part in a movie. Because like, oh, we can't afford to get this actor. All right, how much do you need to cut my salary by to get that actor? Like that's happened before, so a couple of times in movies. He
is a really, really good person. He's
he's a really great.
He's a very good human,
and just the nicest guy.
Well, and like the things for me, like I've seen pictures of him, like when he's taking pictures with fans, and he's never even like touching the women. Like he's just so big on like consent, like just across the board. He's just a very
never heard a negative thing about him at all.
No. And just respectful and kind. I adore him.
His interviews were great too.
Oh, he is. There's one I always it's hard to look up because I don't remember what the title is. But actually what it was is there's an interview from him and Sandra Bullock when they were in Speed. And so what happened is in the interview, the person cut it short so you can see the moment. But he's talking about the film, just sitting there talking. And it's only a minute long, but at the very end of the video, about the last 20 seconds, you see Sandra Bullock come running up to him, and she runs around and throws herself on top of him, and they do this adorable little flail hug.
Yeah,
and then and he's like, how you doing? She's like, I'm good. He's like, oh, I like that shirt. You like my shirt? Oh, okay. And then she runs off. And that's it. That's it. That's the whole moment. But it was so sincere and precious that she just runs up and throws herself on top of him, and they just hug. Then she just lets him go and keeps going. It was so wholesome.
No, I love them. I saw a thing with the two of them. I might have been an Ellen interview, who I'm not a big fan of, but it was Keanu Reeves. Apparently Sandra Bullock had a crush on Keanu Reeves when they filmed that movie. And whoever was doing the interview told Keanu that, and Keanu was like, "Are you serious?" Like, I was so nervous in every scene with her because I had a huge crush on her.
Yes,
when we were filming that movie.
Oh,
they did. They both had crush on each other. It was so cute.
Yeah, so cute.
And he and Winona Ryder have that same relationship too. They both have had a crush on each other since, and they've been friends for like 40 years.
Yeah,
I love that.
So anyway. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and answering our silly little questions and watching our TV show with us. I mean, it is a fantastic TV show, though. Like, I suggest everyone watch it just all the time. It's often on in the background in my house just because it makes me happy, and I, like to feel like that a lot. So as people have maybe seen, we listed the poll up on the social medias for our next TV show. So the choices are Ahsoka, Legend of Korra, Fallout, and House of the Dragon. So I meant to bring it up before we watch the show because I wanted to see your thoughts, Kyoko, on those shows as well. Like, obviously, I'm guessing you're a fan of Legend of Korra too, right?
Didn't work for me.
No, really?
Oh,
yeah, didn't do it for me.
It's very different for me. Like, I don't love it like I love Avatar. Like, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, I was not joking when I said I watch it all the time. I've watched and rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender hundreds of times. I not sat and watched it, but like I put that show on like in the background when I'm doing things. Like if I'm working on the computer and like sound doesn't matter, like if I'm not like editing video or a podcast or something where I have to hear, it's on one of my screens just all the time. And but Legend of Korra it's also great writing because the writers are good. But it's a very different show. It's a very different feel to the show. It's much more adult. It's it's darker. It's more serious. They deal with different types of topics because the main characters are, young adults. They're 17, 18, 19, 20. So, but yeah, no, I can see why people that really love Avatar aren't a big fan of Korra.
And I don't despise it or anything. It's that for me, it was a couple of things. I hate saying it because it makes me sound like a annoying fangirl, but it's the truth. When they got rid of Makora, I was like, I'm done. Because why did you sit there and spend all of that time on that relationship and then flush it down the toilet over nothing? Because to me, it was foreshadowing of like, oh, you don't know what you're doing because you sat here and made me care about this. And then you just went, yeah, whatever. And then threw it away. I went, okay, I'm just done. It was too much for me. And again, that's not a legitimate reason to not like it or not finish it. But I was just like, dude, I'm done.
It's a personal reason.
Take it. It was too
which is a great like that's how opinions should work. They're for you. You know what I mean? Like there are things that aren't opinion based, but whether or not you like a TV show is. And I hate when people
and that's why I don't tell people like, oh, I think it's bad. It's like, no, it just doesn't work for me. Because I was like, seriously, why? Oh my god.
And that's another reason why we love you, because you're not a toxic human being.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fallout was great. I loved Fallout. Ahsoka, fantastic. Like Ahsoka quickly became one of my favorite characters in Star Wars when they introduced her in Clone Wars.
That one I didn't. I'm not a Star Wars person. Just
that's fair.
I don't dislike it, but like I've liked it in very specific context. So like the original trilogy, Force Awakens, and then only one season of Mandalorian because they decided to change everything. Because I was like, oh, cool. The whole reason that I like the first season of Mandalorian is it has nothing to do with all the other shit.
Yeah,
it's like, no, You wrote a Western and it's about the guy, and I don't have to hear about Luke. I don't have to hear about Anakin. I don't have to hear about anything except what we're doing. And so all the little bells and whistles were in the background, which is perfect because I don't want to hear. I already know what the Skywalkers are doing. I already know what Han is doing. I know what everybody else is doing. I want this guy. And so then they went, let's just make it about everybody else all over again. I'm like, okay, bye. And so I just left.
That's why I'm excited about the new stuff, because they said it's not going to be, we're finally able to get away from the Skywalker saga.
And that's what I want for them. Like, it's a whole universe. Stop going back to Luke. Stop going back to Han. Stop going back to everybody I have already seen, and I know what their story arcs are.
Yeah.
Do some new shit. You've got the room. I know you can do it, and you've done it several times, and it was good. So
and Daisy Ridley. I love Daisy Ridley, and I'm so happy that she came back. I'm just hoping that they can somehow talk John Boyega to come back.
I don't think they're going to get him. But
I don't think so either. But
I mean, they did get Harrison Ford back, and he despises Han Solo. So they took that check out and they went, all right, I'm going to keep writing zeros, Harrison, until you crack.
Yeah. I just hope they did the same thing to John Boyega, because
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think maybe if they just go, John, we
what's the number?
So
give us
a number. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until you say stop, homie.
Yeah. Because I really want a Rey Finn romance. That's what I want.
They deserve to have one. Like, they teased at it and then they just completely blew it.
Ryan Johnson ruined it for everybody.
It was a mess. And so, like I said, when I don't dislike Star Wars, but like I said, because it's so too much of it is wrapped up in keep going back to the Skywalker saga. I'm like, I don't need what we've got enough. I don't need it. So
well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Before we go, our next week is the finale, but our guest next week is going to be Wine Spring Cafe, which if you're a Wheel of Time content creator fan or you watch other Wheel of Time content creators, you will recognize Wine Spring Cafe. They are on Wheel and Chill very often on Critters show as well, and they have a Wheel of Time or kind of just a nerdy food blog as well. That's a lot of fun. So I can't wait to hang out with her. I think that's it. Make sure to go vote. I want to share Kyoko's wow, I cannot.
The links. He wants to share the link to your website again.
Kyoko stuff again. Make sure to follow her and subscribe to her stuff over on wow, where's my thing? There it is. Over on all of the social medias. And if you're watching this, most of you are watching this over on YouTube or on Facebook, but if you'd like to watch me very infrequently but sometimes play video games, go ahead and check us out over on Twitch, which is DragonMountCom on Twitch, at DragonMountCom on Twitch, because someone stole Dragonmount and then hasn't been active in like 7 years. But yeah, I've been streaming recently Helldivers and a new game that just came out, Once Human. So that's been a bunch of fun. I'm going to be playing probably a bunch of that. Anywho, some shows talk about Smashing to Black, but we do it immediately here. So say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.